training's really sticky.
Sandy's come on
That
today.
training's really sticky, isn't it?
How are you, Damien?
Right.
Yeah. Sandy coming. Is it?
To everyone.
Damien, we can't hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, I can hear you. Can you
Oh,
not hear
there we go. There we go.
Ah.
Hey, Jamal.
Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Good morning.
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 Morning. Good morning.
Great. Right. So, what's the first thing we do?
Check in.
Great. Who wants to start the check-in?
Tim.
I'll
I'll
start.
start, David.
All right. It's Dom checking in, feeling a bit mixture of anxiety and excitement at the minute. I went for a job interview last week and I've got it. So things are going well. Pass on to Stan.
Morning, everybody. I'm Stan. I'm checking in as always, as slightly apprehensive. But sun's out in sunny Sheffield, and I seem to have a smile on my face and feeling really upbeat and ready to go. And I'm going to go straight to my right and pass to Zoe.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Zoe checking in. I'm really good today. Really good. Yeah, it's just a nice day. The sun's shining, and I'm glad to be in the container with all of you. Pass on to Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris. I'm feeling grateful because we've finally, my dad's got Parkinson's, but we've finally got him out every day for the past few days, which is really good because he didn't want to go out. So I'll pass on to Tim.
Morning, I'm Tim. I'm feeling good, thank you. And it's nice to be here with such nice people, including yourselves on the screen. Thank you. I'll pass on to Alex.
Hello, it's Alex, checking in as fine. I've passed through Recovery Connections. Recovery Connections.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
Gates here?
I'm Faye and I'm checking in excited.
I'm Lauren and I'm checking in happy. I'm Annette and I'm checking in enthusiastic. Naomi?
I'm Naomi and I'm checking in a little bit anxious, but excited, I think.
You think you're excited, Naomi. You look excited. Who you taking, Naomi?
Are you what? Didn't hear what.
Oh, okay, Naomi tags Richard.
What?
Hi, everyone. I am Richard, zooming in from West Sussex, and I'm checking in today calm, grounded, and grateful. Cheers.
Jamil?
Hi, Jamal. Checking in here. Checking in, I'll say relaxed and motivated. And I'll check in Damien.
Hi everyone, good morning. Nice to see some new people here. I think I'm checking in as curious. And I'll tag Abby.
Hi, Abby. From zooming in from Norwich in Norfolk in England. Feeling kind of okay, a bit apprehensive about things going on in my life at the moment. But I'm actually feeling quite lifted and positive to be in what seems quite a small container compared to last time, David. I've gone from one extreme to the other there, dude.
Getso, you want to go next?
Hi, my name is KK. I'm checking in and feeling like lots of mixed emotions and very like thoughtful, but very determined as well, which is quite like and I'm kind of just running with it. Like, let me just keep with this flow while I still have it. Because yeah, as Dave would know, like I can really just sit back and let shit happen. So yeah, that's how I'm checking in. Lots of things happening in life. I celebrated my best friend's wedding, and that was quite an experience. But I'm really grateful to be here, just to have that routine and further my learning. And I have a job interview on Thursday, so that's exciting. That's me. Is there anyone to tag?
Yep, tag me. So,
tag.
David checking in. I'm excited for this class. I'm anxious to for everyone to get on well. So just to put some context to it all. Richard, this is your first one, yes? Or second one?
First.
Okay, great. So Richard's first class. He's doing the community of practice certification, where he's going to be a sole person coming in and doing this path, very much like Damien has done. Damien's quite a way down the path now. This must be about your 10th class, hey Damien?
A bit more, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So Damien's well over the halfway mark. Richard's just starting. And then Recovery Connections in Gateshead. Wave your arms. Wave your hands in the air like you don't care. Yep. They're from a lived experienced organization, peer-led lived experience organization, Recovery Connections in Gateshead. And they've just completed the 3 days training with me. And yeah, so last Tuesday, the container was very different. They were all sitting there thinking, oh my God, what have we gotten into? And now they're doing the 10-week follow-up, which is what Project 6 did. When did we meet? Was it February? Yeah?
Yes,
Yeah.
it was.
Yep. And Project 6 have done the 3-day intensive, and now we're coming towards the end of the 10-week follow up. So you must have about one week to go or 2 weeks to go. Two weeks to go. Great. So is this the second last one? Is next week your last one, or have you got 2 more after this? 2 more after this. Okay. And who's just got a job?
Dom.
Who?
Dom.
He's hiding. Walk round.
Oh, Dom, there he is. Okay. Hey, Dom, what was it? What's the job? Out of curiosity, if I may ask.
It's working with the shelter with their drug and alcohol related team, helping people with their tenancies and stuff.
Oh, fantastic. So is that paid employment?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Quite
Okay.
lucky.
Okay, great. So you've gone from being a volunteer to going off and getting employed. Wonderful. Great stuff. Liam, good day. Would you like to check in?
Yeah, real quick. That's a tough one. Yeah, going through a little bit of an internal moment. So I'm not really I'm okay, but I'm not okay. If that makes sense.
Something no one expected. In a split second, the car violently struck a pedestrian, and the driver tried to flee.
Can somebody mute?
But this Santa wasn't letting a criminal escape.
Where's that coming from? It's like Hawaii 5-0 in the background. Who is that? Okay. Liam, are you okay there? Sorry, we got interrupted by Inceptor. Liam, are you good?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm okay. I'm okay, and I'm not okay. If that makes sense.
Okay. So you're right to just hang with us for a bit until you feel okay to share some more?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And if we need to get a breakout room or something, we can arrange that for you as well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, Richard, welcome to your first class. It's going to feel quite overwhelming in the beginning. Just allow yourself to settle into it. The structure is we always check in and build the container, and the container is the learning environment. Yeah. So, and the three things we do is we check in, we contract, and then we build the container. And the contract is made up of time. Yeah. So you're starting at the very beginning. Damien's over halfway. Project 6 and Recovery Connections both did the 3 days, and completing the hours that are required afterwards. KK's been around a while, coming in and out. Abby is well overqualified and just kind of hangs around here until she gets a life. And there's me kind of just using humor there to just kind of play. Yeah. So that's where we're at. So let me answer your question. You had your hand up, Richard. And once I've answered the question, we'll see what today's agenda is, what the container wants to talk about. You had your hand up.
Yes, because you asked who got a job. So I recently got a lot of work, paid work in gardening. So hedge cutting and all of that is very physical, and that is very, very helpful. It's a nice balance with mental health and physical work, you know.
Okay. All right, cool. So you've got a job that's outside of the field of recovery as a career, and the job that you've got's helping you with your own personal mental health. Is that correct?
Exactly right. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, cool. Okay, well, I hope this is beneficial for you, and the next 20 weeks help you in whatever endeavors you choose to engage in.
Thank you, David.
All right, so before we find out what today's agenda is, was there any homework from last week? Was there any accountability?
I did some homework, which was preparing for my interview, and obviously it worked. So
Hey, well done. Cool. All right. Damien, you held the container for the second half last week, is that correct? Yeah. Do you remember any accountability from last week?
No, what I remember is that I invited people at check-in to bring any action and accountability they wish to bring, and nobody brought any. So nobody wanted any homework last week.
Okay. All right. Liam?
Yeah, I actually started module 1, so.
Yay! Okay. And Liam, how long have you been coming to these classes?
I think this is my 6th one, maybe.
Okay. All right. Good. Okay. Good place to start. Okay. Great. All right. So let's see what's in the container for today. So Recovery Connection. Sorry, one last thing. What we'll do is we'll go for an hour, and then you and Project 6 can log off and then do an hour's coaching amongst yourselves, and that'll go towards your certification. Yeah. So you'll just be with us for the first hour, unless you want to stick around. Yeah. Okay. So Jamal, how's it going with you? Let's start. Let's find an agenda from you.
It's all right. It's going okay. I'm a lot more relaxed than last week, the container from last week. I think I brought a lot of stress to the container. I think I started the container last week. I was having a bit of a hard time. People close to me was having a hard time, and the homework that I set myself was active listening. And it just so happened that I needed to really, I guess,
There's a nice smile that's coming to your face as you say that.
I'm smiling now, but I wasn't smiling a couple of weeks ago. But yeah, I had to really, really, I guess be strong for some people close to me. But what happened is that it took its toll on me as the week went on. So taking on other people's sort of stress and having to hear things that I didn't want to hear, which sort of triggered me really. And so yeah, and what I brought to the container, I guess, was a question of how do you deal with helping people on a personal level that are close to you, and the difference between helping people professionally as a recovery coach. How do you not take that stuff home with you?
Wonderful agenda. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
Yeah, so I found it hard, and I assume that on a professional level, it would be a lot easier probably to take home the stuff that you encounter at work rather than dealing with people that are close to you. It affects you more, and I find that it's harder to support or to give advice, or I think maybe you're a bit more judgmental with the people that are closest to you. So that brought up a good discussion in last week's container. But as of today, what I've done this last week is I've sort of been a bit more reclusive, and a bit more selfish, and use the time for, I guess you would say, more mindfulness, and to sort of bring myself back to myself and be a bit more happy. So doing the things that I like to do. I've been going to the gym more, and yeah, just being a bit more peaceful, be more at peace. And so it's been really uneventful, but I'm happy that it's been uneventful. I've been able to recalibrate, refresh, and keep my mind off of things. And it's been for the good, really, for the better. So that's where I'm at the moment. That's why I said at the beginning that I'm relaxed. I'm relaxed right now.
Okay, so Jamal, let me just so the topic is kind of active listening, and or the skill set is active listening. And when you've learned the skill set of active listening and you find yourself in a coaching relationship where somebody is I'm going to say service user, for want of a better word, somebody who's a non-family member or friend, is different to when you're active listening to a family member. The boundaries are different, and can become complex, and it's often easier to take work stuff related, leave that at work and switch off at the end of the day. But when you're supporting a family member or something, that becomes difficult. And I relate to that personally on so many levels, particularly in my relationship with my girlfriend. She will say to me sometimes, "How come you don't talk to me nicely like you do to your clients?" And the reason for that is, well, because you're my girlfriend, you're not a client, and we're in a boyfriend, girlfriend, partner relationship. I'm not in that sort of relationship with clients or students or colleagues. Yeah, there's the dynamics of our relationship are different. And then I find myself in my role as a father with my kids, my kids will turn around and go, "Don't fucking coach me, Dad." So they'll kind of express their anger, and they're looking for a father. They're not looking to be coached. And this is one of the professional challenges we need to come to terms with as coaches in our roles. So this is my job, or this is the role that I'm getting paid for. This is me being in a different role. And it's not easy. It's not easy. When I was in IT support and people ask me, what do I do? I'd say, well, I fix computers. They go, oh, well, I've got this problem with my computer, la, 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 la. Or if you're a doctor, yeah, and someone finds out you're a doctor, oh, doctor, I've got the, so the role can haunt you. And as soon as I tell someone I'm a recovery coach or something, they start to tell me how you should treat drug addicts and what you should do. And they'll go, oh yes, well, it's a disease, isn't it? Or this or that. And it's the nature of it. Yeah. So this is a wonderful topic. Let's see where the container goes. So I'll open the container.
Yeah, I mean, I could really relate to you sharing that your kids are, turn around and say, "Don't coach me." I mean, that's a big experience that I've had with my mom, who's a trauma counselor, and it frustrates the living daylights out of me. Like normal conversations turn into a counseling session, and I'm like, how did we even get here? And it's very interesting how the lines blur so quickly. And yeah, it also makes me curious, how would that kind of affect me as well?
Okay, would you like to give some context for the container?
From about my mom or about me?
Yeah, it's a yes/no question. So yes, David, I can give some context, or no, David, I don't want to share my context.
Yeah, I can give some context. I can give some context. Yes, I can give some context. Context. So yeah, as everyone knows, I am a recovering addict. My mom is a trauma counselor, and as an addict, one goes through a couple traumas and stuff. So when you want to talk about some experiences that you had as a child growing up in this house, like, it can very quickly, like, the skills that she has learned are quickly like hoisted onto me, and a lot of them are useful. I love this one of like connecting with your body. You can wiggle your toes. It's like it's like a instant reconnection with yourself. I like that one. Hopefully that helps someone there. But it becomes very frustrating because I just want someone to hear me and listen to me when I feel alone, rather than give advice or guidance or stuff like that. And I think it's also very important that I keep that in mind when I'm talking to my own family, because I've started saying, I'm doing a course on recovery coaching, and I'm doing a trauma counseling course as well. And like Dave was saying, like, very quickly people are like, how is it to work with addicts? And my great child is also an addict, and we don't know what to do with him. And oh yeah, my granny's neighbor is an addict, and they had convinced me to go and chat to him. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna say to him. I can listen to him as a person who can understand and really relate, but there's nothing I can say that will convince him to stop using, because it surely didn't work with me. So yeah, that's all I have to say, actually. Thanks for listening.
And now you know how I felt when your mum phoned me up and said, "Can I talk to you?" Okay. Anyone relate to that story? Thank you, KK.
Yes, I can relate to that. So what I'm practicing with my two sons, who are both here in the UK, is I'm practicing being honest with them, as far as when they say, "How are you doing, Dad?" If I'm not well, I'm actually able to be honest and say I'm struggling with maybe a bit of anxiety or a bit of depression lately or something like that. And this is new to me because I always used to put on the mask of I'm fine. And what I'm also practicing, and it's improving my relationship with my sons, is actually not giving my advice or opinions unless they're specifically asked for. So in listening to what challenges they have, I might say, I can relate to that because of this happening in my life or that, and that's challenging. But I'll actually kind of put a full stop there and then just be silent. And if they want to talk more, then they talk. And it's incredible, the power of silence, and not me talking less and listening more is really, really helping my relationship with them, showing them that I'm available. Yeah, I'll leave it there.
Thank you, Richard. So one of the continuums that we talk about, so continuums are line, and on the one end we have wait, which is why am I talking, and the other end we have wail, why am I listening? Now sometimes we're listening to a client and we talk to them when we just need to shut up and listen. And other times we just listen to the bullshit and listen. And so as coaches, in the role of coaches, using the ethical professional practice of always wanting to forward the action and deepen the learning. So for example, whale, why am I listening to this bullshit? Yeah, you've been coming every single week. You say you want to stop taking drugs and get a job, but all you actually do is come every week. Let's rather get honest and just say you want to carry on using drugs and you don't want to get a job, and how can you improve your relationship with your mother, because she's the one that's freaking out at you and you're just coming here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, I didn't mean that to kind of move into your direction, by the way. I just want to, but it's just an example that comes up lots and lots and lots.
Yes, that's very helpful.
So
thank you.
Yeah. So as coaches, when we're in the role of a coach, we're sitting on these continuums, trying to gauge where the conversation is. So is it going to high well-being or premature death? Do you need to have a harm reduction type conversation with this person? Yeah. Do you need to have a conversation where you're making them aware of external recovery capital available to them to help them in their personal growth? Yeah. Does this person actually want to change their behavior? Are they thinking about changing their behavior? Meeting the client where they're at, building rapport so you can start the journey with them. and the journey has an end goal in mind. Yeah. So we've been on a journey with Project 6 as an organization. They've got 2 more weeks. Yeah. How's that been going, Project 6?
Hi, Stan. I sat with someone that I know quite well a few days ago, and he's going through a bit of a tough time. And I sat with him and I said, listen, I can sit here and I can listen to you, and I can just let you talk, or he's quite a friend of mine, or I can offer you advice. And I think at this time, I think you need some advice. So I am going to frap you. I'm going to offer you some advice. What you're doing isn't working for you, basically. So if it's not working, stop doing it. What do you need to do to get working? So I sat and listened to him for a while, an hour or so, and then thought, I need an intervention here. What he's doing at the moment wasn't working, so I kind of went against all the rules, you know what I mean, and frapped him and jumped in and said, this is what I think you need to do. And
Stan, I want to come in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And what I want to say is there's that, I think it was Picasso that said it. You can only break the boundaries once you know the boundaries. Mm-hmm. So when you said, that I broke all the rules, I want to say that you've got a good awareness of where the boundaries are, and your intuition was saying, oh, fuck, I need to give some advice here.
Yeah.
And I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. If someone's drowning, you're not going to say, well, I'm not going to frap you. You're going to throw them a fucking life ring.
Yeah.
And trust your kind of intuition there. So I would support that. And you're quite, it's quite ethical to say, listen here, I'm stepping out of this. I'm going to frap you now. Do you want me to want advice? Do you want my opinion? Do you want this? So well done there, Stan. Carry on.
Yeah, like I said, I listened for an hour. I give him the opportunity to hold the space so that he felt that the advice would be valid. I kind of knew within the first 10 minutes of talking to him what he needed to do, but I give him the space, I give him the hour, and just sat and listened and agreed, and then kind of like I see you do with, I think it was Don, wasn't it? And you took all everything and said, right, this is what I think you need to do. This is what I think you're doing wrong. And the guy's re-engaged. His bike is back in the land of the living. And yeah. If that was a client, I probably wouldn't have done that. Because it's a guy that I know and we've had a relationship, I felt able to do that. If it was a client, I don't know where I'd be with that.
And the dynamics of the relationship are different. You've got a friendship, you've got a history, you've got, So I think that's, when you're in a professional role in an organization, they're also going to kind of give some guidance on how one should act in the role and how one shouldn't act in, so what's in your scope of practice and what's out of your scope of practice. Yeah. So, for example, when we teach nurses recovery coaching skills, that makes them better nurses, but it doesn't take away their training as being a nurse and helping someone. Yeah. Does that make sense? Alex, would you like to share some of your wisdom here?
No, thank you.
Right, thank you. It's a yes, no question. No, good, great. Anyone else care to share some wisdom?
I was gonna.
Yeah, go on, Liam.
if I'm following the conversation properly, I think one of the things that I use this particularly with my son, who was trying to, I think he wanted to explore everything possible that you could explore up until he was 17 or 18. He still does, but one of the things that I used to tell him, because I knew that there was so much out of my control, is we would have these great conversations about how to avoid certain situations and try to be a great dad and pour all of my wonderful wisdom into him and my knowledge and my coaching prowess and all this. But occasionally I would sit him down in the living room and I would point at the front door and I would say, look, I'm over the course of your life, I'm going to share a bunch of things with you. You're going to take it in and you're going to do whatever you feel like you need to do with it. And then you're going to go out that front door and life is going to happen. And you're going to be faced with a set of decisions. And I'm not going to be there to help you make those decisions. You're going to have to make them on your own. And each decision that you make is going to have a set of consequences that come with it, good or bad. And you're going to have to face those consequences. I'm not going to be there. And it was my process of learning to let go of how other people are being, including my children, and whether or not I had any control over it in the first place, and allowing them to do what it is they needed to do for their life in the time that their life, at that point in their life, whatever it happens to be. Consequently, he did make some decisions that didn't go in his favor, and he ended up in detention at 17, which was the best thing that could have happened for him, because he told me, I visited him every day for hours, or at least as long as they'd let me. And he told me on the second day he'd never step foot in one of those places again. And he hasn't. And he's as far away from getting in trouble as you could possibly be, apart from driving a BMW M5 a little too fast down the freeways and getting a ticket or two. But this letting go process of how other people be, or whether they take on any information that I provide, has given me a sense of peace, because I'm no longer attached to their outcomes. I'm no longer attached to whether they've taken on anything that I'm saying. And I like what I can't remember his name was saying, that it's great to ask for permission in advance. Do you mind if I share a little bit of advice with you, or do you even want that sort of advice? Which I used to do with all of my kids, as a matter of fact. Even when they were 10, 11, 12 years old, I'd ask them first, would you like a little pointer or two? But there's this great letting go that we can have as a practice about how our friends and family members are being, that allows us to move with a sense of peacefulness and I guess okayness when we have people that are dealing with addiction, even the closest members of our family dealing with addiction and dealing with alcoholism or any other kind of significant issue, is we can be there for them with compassion and love, provide whatever support we can provide, and then let go of how everything is going to turn out.
You've got a lot going on here, Liam. I can hear it in your voice.
Yeah, I'm a little heavy today.
Yeah, okay. Okay. If at any time you want me to stop the recording, let me know, huh?
No, I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that. Okay. Recovery Connections in Gateshead. Oh, there's that look. It's like, oh fuck, don't talk to me. Not us. Yeah. Would you, would you like to add anything to the conversation? You can be like Alex and say no. Or
I just feel that I find it difficult. My partner at the minute is going through addiction. And he'll ask me his opinion, and then when I give it, he'll say, "Oh, don't you preach to me." But I just go down the normal pathways of trying to get him into the service and everything else that's available to him, and it's, "Oh, don't you fucking preach to me." And then when I don't say anything, it's, "Oh, you don't care. You just care about them up there." Do you know what I mean? So I struggle on a professional side. I could deal with that, but on a personal side, I'm really struggling with it. To the fact where now, like, we've sort of gone our separate ways in the house, because it is becoming a big problem.
what a wonderful example, and thank you so much for sharing, because that is textbook. That's wonderful. From a textbook perspective, it must be very difficult for where you are. Are you okay for the recording to
Yeah, that's
be?
fine. Yeah.
Yep. All right. So what is your role at Recovery Connections?
Ambassador.
Okay. Ambassador for whom?
Recovery Connections.
Yeah, but who's so you talk about you talk about Recovery Connections, yep. To who?
Yeah.
Families, to people that are using, to
Service users, yeah.
pardon?
Service users.
I missed that. Service users. Okay. All right. So people like your partner come in every day and
Yeah.
you talk to them. But
Yeah.
when you go home and you follow that professional role with your partner, you get set up.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a nice smile. What's in your smile? What's your smile saying?
I don't know. I think it hides a lot, really.
Okay. It hides a lot. Okay.
Yeah, it's
What's it
more of a
hiding?
putting a brave face on, because like I really
Oh,
don't know where to go with him now.
okay.
I have got him into the service, so that is like a good step. But trying to get him to go to his appointments or any conversation we just have now, there seems to be a block. "Oh, you're fucking preaching to me. I don't need this." So
Okay.
I try not to say anything. But then I look like I don't care. So I'm stuck in between the two of them.
It's harder. It's really hard. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Is my internet connection playing up?
Yeah, you keep going off.
Sorry about that. I was saying it's really hard.
Yeah, it is some days. And then obviously being in recovery myself, I've got to think of number one. I've got to put myself first, which is even harder.
And what kind of recovery are you in, if I may ask?
Alcohol.
Okay. And how do you practice a 12-step program, a smart recovery, just woke up one day and stopped? How did you get into recovery?
My son got me into the service, and then I'd done a residential detox, and then I'd done 6 months day hab. And then we've just opened a centre at Lean Lane. And I come here every day now just to keep myself right.
Fantastic. Okay, so you're quite the way down the journey, huh?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay. And what's going to keep you on the path?
Just keeping focused and in contact with everybody else. And then like times like this when I do feel things are getting a bit heavy, just sharing it with people and getting their opinions. And obviously they might say something that I've never thought of, and I can sort of go away and try that.
And what is it that you're taking away from this morning's container that's going to be helpful for you?
I just think opening up to people and expressing how you're feeling, it takes a massive weight off your shoulders, which helps you maybe cope with the rest of the day. Yeah.
So behind my smile, there's a lot of pain and anger.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. So when I hear you say that, I feel sadness. I feel it touches my compassion and my heart, and it makes me feel incredibly proud of the work that you're doing in coming here and just sharing your story and what you're doing up there in Gateshead. So I want to thank you. And I hope that's appropriate.
Oh, that's, yeah, thank you.
I thought it was very honest and open. And what that's done for me is it makes me trust you. Yeah. I think, okay, well, this lady knows what she's talking about. I would trust her working with a family member of mine.
Thank you.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm looking for people that I can trust will work with a family member of mine. That's a very good measure. I'm not looking for a piece of paper. I'm looking for a courageous heart. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a brave kind of challenge that you've not signed up for, but like you're taking on, being in recovery coaching and having an addict as a partner is a really difficult and challenging experience. So well done. It makes me think of that thing of like they say the work starts at home, but it's really challenging. Like it reminds me of my perspective. It broadens my perspective on my mom and I's relationship. She's a trauma counselor and there's trauma at home. She cannot be counseling me as a trauma counselor. It's just not professional. But it's great that you are giving the resources to your partner and kind of letting them do what they do with those resources. That's pretty much all you can do.
And it's also hard being a professional, watching someone you care about going down the path that they're going. Like sometimes there's the gift of ignorance that you don't actually get to the pain doesn't impact you in the same way. It's like so sometimes I feel I have to have more to manage because of my wisdom of working in this field or my experience in working here. And particularly with my sister and her son, my nephew, who ended up suiciding, and just watching my sister make some terrible mistakes and not listening to the professionals around her. It's incredibly difficult to live with. Addiction is the one thing that everyone seems to have an opinion about. Yeah, everyone's got I mean, if someone's diabetic, there's not that sort of judgment and projection. With addiction, it's like everyone's got an opinion. Oh, you need to find Jesus. Oh, you need to find, you need to find Allah. Oh, you need to do a 12-step program. Oh, you need to do this. Oh, yeah. I had a friend whose neighbor's son was that. Like the last bit of advice my sister got was from her neighbor, sorry, a friend of the family that she met through her neighbor that went to the same church, and she sent her sons to this work camp, this Christian work camp in Mpumalanga in South Africa, and those places are hard. It was like a 3-month work camp where you dig holes and you preach the Bible and this kid's like, it would have been a proper traumatic culture shock. And yeah, then he came back and then he went into a halfway house and then he got kicked out of the halfway house because he drank hand sanitizer and the next day he hung himself. And I can't help thinking that the stigma and I mean, I would have loved personally, sorry, I've gone into my own narrative here, but I would have loved personally if he was just allowed to drink in a way that was less less harmful, as opposed to people trying to put a narrative of complete abstinence and onto him, and we're going to get God in you to get you like, fuck. It angers me. I'm still traumatized by it all. And then I think what traumatizes me is my own lived experience with my sister from 30 years ago, where she still sees me as the fuck up in the family because I was a proper fuck up, but really discounts all the work that I've done. And yes, I'm suitably triggered now. I can feel in my body, I'm kind of foaming at the mouth, and yeah. I hope we're still on track. So, Jamal, what did we start the conversation with? Active listening and boundaries, and what else?
Active listening, boundaries, and what we take away from sort of, I guess, triggers as well, I think.
How the stories impact us.
Yeah,
and what we can leave at work and what we take at home, and
yeah. And being a bit selfish, I think, as well, and knowing when to sort of look after self after you're triggered and after the trauma comes back, taking time out for yourself.
Thank you.
I think that's it, yeah.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're coming up to the end of the first hour. Let's start the checkout and send Project 6 and Recovery Connections off into their little groups. And then we'll come back. So let's just do a checkout. So your name and something that you're taking away from today. And then Gateshead, if you could just kind of either have a conversation for an hour as a group or split up in pairs and coach each other for half an hour each. Will you decide?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, great. All right. So, where should we start? Let's start with you, Alex. Is that all right? We'll start the checkout and we'll do just something you've learned, and then we'll go Project 6 Recovery Connections.
Yeah, Alex, checking out. really like just learning that a lot of the times things are just like person to person basis. Use your intuition, hold everything that you learn loosely, use anti-frapping if you want.
Anti-fapping, lovely term.
Yeah, because I think that's what we've been doing something and people have been getting really triggered by it, like, because I think they're so used to like, oh, I can't do what I've always wanted to do. What do you mean? Oh, so you know, we've had lots of sulking going on around that. So, but I'm trying to say, like, look, it's not a hard and fast black and white thing. You trust your own wisdom, you'll get it. You know what you're doing. So, like Stan said, he uses intuition with that person, didn't he? So, I learned from listen to the Golden Stanley and set that.
Thanks.
I'm Tim, checking out. Thank you very much. I think a couple of things I've learned from this is somebody mentioned asking the person, do you really want to change? Because you brought up about people coming along time out and saying the same old thing and doing a lot of smart meetings. I hear that a lot from quite a few people, and it just aggravates me a little bit. And I think it's not a bad question to ask them. Do you really want to change? And if so, what do you want to do about it? But again, listen to what they've got to say. But that's me. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, very much what Tim just said, as in you can take a horse to water and all that. But part of it, what I'm taking away is personal boundaries about it, of how much you can go up, even though when it's in a family matter or really good friend, that you automatically get sucked in from your feelings.
Hi, it's Zoe checking out. Again, personal boundaries, but I would like to just say thank you to the lady from Gateshead for sharing her story about her and her partner. That was really brave, and thank you for doing that, Stan.
Stan checking out. Something you said, David, really struck. I'm not looking for a piece of paper. I'm looking for a courageous heart. But I'm not a crusader. Dom.
Hi, Dom, check it out. I think it's obviously important to listen. And I found that we do treat people very differently depending on relationship. And it's important to keep those boundaries when we're talking and trying to avoid frapping. And I'll check out to Liam.
No, it's a good conversation to have. As you can hear, my head's in a number of different places, and yeah, so I'm here.
Liam takes Richard.
I'm checking out with just what I'm taking with me is a lot of things from this group session, and the importance that I need to come back to this, because I'm in recovery myself, and I always learn from others, and it's like-minded people that are on this path. And I really enjoyed watching the process, David, of you guiding us, looking at the contract, and then the agenda, and how that kind of flowed through, and in improving, for me, it's about improving relationships. And there's so many things that came up around that, frapping, or now anti-frapping, love that, yes. And yeah, improving relationships. It's what I'm grateful to be aware of, that I need to continue to work on. Thanks. And I'll tag Damien, yeah?
Thanks, everyone. Something to practice this week. Yeah, asking people for permission to give feedback or advice. I have friends that do that with me, and I like it. So it's nice something to do to others. And it's been great to listen today, rather than I haven't spoken very much, but it's been great to listen. In a session about active listening. KK.
Hey, KK, checking out. What I've kind of learned today is that I'm very opinionated over recovery. I have lots to say. What I'm also taking out. I've completely just gone blank. Yeah, for now, that's what I'm taking out. I'm grateful for the topic. Oh yes, and also taking out that I don't have to be the one that has to do it. I don't have to be the savior. I don't have to be the problem. I can share the resources that I've used and let it be what it has to be. Yeah. Who am I tagging? I'm tagging Abby.
Guys, so I've learned about Project 6, who I wasn't aware of before. So that's been interesting, David, learning about Project 6. That's brilliant that that's going. And the lady from Recovery Connections, it's made me be more aware and considerate towards other people's situations, because you don't see it, and it's like I'm continuously aware to be, you don't see what's going on for people, but it's very, very easy to forget that when you bang into someone's trolley in Tesco's, what they're going through at home and whatnot. And I think it's amazing to hear the story, and I needed to hear that, of a lady who's gone through a program. She's doing her own thing, and she's not doing the 12-step program, and she's sober and she's doing it, and I think that's amazing. 12-step fellowships is brilliant, but it's not the only way. Multiple pathways. Sorry, but and also, David, when you said you were, despite what you achieve in your life, you're the black sheep of the family, or that really resonated with me as well. But yeah, it was just lovely hearing everyone and just sitting there hearing different conversations and checking out, feeling thoughtful and considerate. Thank you. Has anyone not been?
Naomi, would you like to kick off for Recovery Connections?
So I'm Naomi, and I'm checking out a bit heavy but feeling privileged. And I've learned that even though it might not be nice, it's important to talk about your triggers for self-growth, self-reflection, self-realization. So yeah, that's what I've learned.
I feel sad, actually. It's just more of a story. I didn't know you were going through that, and it's just sad. I don't know. I obviously don't know what's going on behind closed doors. So I think it was just more of a reality check, really, to think that people who are smiling next to you aren't actually going through stuff at home that you don't actually know about. So yeah, I feel really sad, to be honest, but yeah.
I'm Faye, and I'm checking out. Grateful to be able to listen to people share their honesty and be courageous. And what I've learned today is that different dynamics require different roles, not even just in a professional sense, but in a personal sense. So the role that I'd play with my mom is totally different than the role that I would play with my boyfriend.
Yeah, I'm Annette, and I'm checking out with gratitude that I've got as far as I can, or as I am, and I can offer other people signposts and directions where to go, and I can stay true to my authentic self. Yeah, so I'm checking out with gratitude.
Jamal, did you check out? No.
No, not properly.
Yeah.
Jamal checking out here, and I think what I'll take from today is the example that Stan, I think it's Stan at Project 6, the example that he used there. I think the term's frapping or frap. And it's interesting because through my coaching journey so far, the principle or the main principle seems to be supporting and guiding rather than to give advice. You're sort of taught not to sort of give advice, keep your opinions to yourself or how you feel. And I always felt that, well, surely at some point you may need to give your perspective or your opinion or advice. So I was happy to hear that that is something that you can do, and for David to, as well, to confirm that in some cases, yes, you do be human and allow your intuition to sort of, I guess, step in and to help someone and not just be so rigid and stick to the book. So that's what I'll take out today. And as well, moving forward, I know Stan's example was more personal because he knew the person, but how would that look working with a client? What would be the boundaries there if you do decide to interject and sort of put your opinions out there? So moving forward, I'd like to see how that would work, and that would be me checking out. Thanks.
Cool. All right, everyone. So Recovery Connections and Project 6, thank you all. We'll see you next week. And the rest of the container, let's take a 5-minute break and then come back. Jamal, you still got an hour to go, mate.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, you lot. Where were we this time last week? In a very different place, huh?
Yeah.
Great. It's great to see you all here. Take care. Lots of love.
Thank
See you
you.
next
Bye.
week. Bye. Bye. Yeah, Richard's back. Abby's back. So while we're just waiting for everyone else, how's your first class been so far, Richard?
I'm absolutely blown away because normally when I have high expectations, then not normally, but I'm often disappointed. And today has been really beneficial and very uplifting.
Okay, good. All right. Great. I love the way KK's got an hourglass in his top left-hand corner of his screen.
It's a little coffee thing and says I'm away. It's the first time I've seen that.
Yeah, no, it's an hourglass, I think, isn't it?
I thought it was a coffee cup, steaming coffee cup saying I'm away. But anyway.
How do you do that?
I also checked it out by reactions. Do you have a reactions tab at the bottom?
Yeah.
So if you click that, then all the options come up.
Oh, there, be right.
There we go.
I'm back.
There we go.
All
We
right.
learn a new thing every time.
I'm drinking coffee, so I'm definitely having one. Sorry.
Okay.
That's so cool what they do now.
Okay.
You guys
So-
are too funny.
So this is a great thing about the learning environment. Yeah. So we're continuously doing speed up.
Sorry, I'm
Okay, so,
Damien.
yeah. So what we're continuously doing is learning from the environment that we find ourselves in. We've got 20 weeks to get through the content that we have to get to, and Damien's at around week 12. And this is most probably keeping up with his brain because Damien's a really fast learner and really likes to learn stuff a lot. So what we'll do is we'll do check-ins and summarize what we've learned today. Damien, over to you.
Fantastic. Very good. Sorry, summarize what I've learned today.
No, it's just fucking around. But
Yeah.
but what are we going to? Let's have some fun this last 45 minutes. Yeah, let's just have some fun learning and we're all kind of grown-ups here and yeah. So let's who would like to hold the container? Richard, I know you're enthusiastic, but wait to about your 5th class. KK, what about you? That was a big breath.
Can I not go first, please?
Yes, you can say that, and then we can do the champion skill of coaching where the coach goes, "Go on, you can do it, you can do it." Stretch yourself. No, he's just refusing to unmute. Just refuse. All right. So Jamal and Damien, you both went last week, or was it Charlie and then Damien?
It was Charlie and Charlie and me did the containers last week, one and then the other.
Okay. And Jamal, how many classes have you come to? This must be about your 5th.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, exactly. The 5th, I think. If you include
Alright.
my first sitting that I did, I think is the
All
5th.
right. So will you hold the container for the next 25 minutes?
I can't think of anything to talk about apart from the weather, how nice the weather is.
Yeah. No, but that's exactly what you need to do is you actually say, guys, I've got nothing to bring. What do you want to talk about? So just ask the question and just facilitate the learning. So coach the container.
What would I like to talk about?
No. I'm asking,
Yeah,
are you okay to hold the container for 25 minutes and start off by asking the container what they would like to talk about?
Oh no, I would not like to hold the container for the next 5 minutes.
Okay, that was a clear no. Okay, KK, you back?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do
Okay,
that.
go for it, KK. Wonderful.
Okay. Um, so I would like to start the container by checking in. Yeah, can I please have Damien check in first?
Yeah, thanks, KK. So I'm checking in. I'm well today. I'm a little bit distracted because I've got quite a lot that I need to do today. So I've found actually throughout the first hour that I'm quite distracted, but I'm here and in general I'm well at the moment. So Abby.
I'm checking and feeling, I don't know, a bit deflated, but also quite enthusiastic at the same time to see where this goes. Do I need to tag somebody? I don't know how this one works. So Jamal.
Thanks, Abby. Checking in, still feeling relaxed and enthusiastic and liking where our conversations was going in our last session. And I would like to check in Liam, if Liam's still.
Same. I'm here. I'm okay, but I'm not okay. Who else is left? Damien? No, Damien went. Richard?
Thanks, Liam. Yeah, I'll check in with still feeling enthusiastic about this, but also now it's almost like an anxious or an urgency that I'm feeling. And it's urgency to learn how to be the best coach. And it's a realization that my skills on Zoom can be improved, like sharing screens and things like that. So that's just what's come to mind now, because it's one of the skills that I do need to learn. So yeah, very, very grateful that I'm here. Thanks. And who hasn't checked in? David? Oh, KK. Sorry, KK. Would you like to check in? Oh, you.
I'm not sure if David's is
I'm
joining us or not.
observing. I'm observing.
Oh, okay.
Big brother is here.
So KK checking in, feeling curious at this task that I'm taking. I'm aware that there are some heavy feelings, some distractions, and some busyness that's happening, and an urgency to learn as well. While there's also some excitement and enthusiasm in the room, as well as some curiosity. So what would anyone like, is there anything anyone would like to bring to the table? Let's chat.
I've got something I'd like to bring.
Awesome.
It's not a personal thing. As I say, actually, at the moment, I'm feeling personally like a lot of stuff has been resolved recently and I'm in quite a good place. But what's come up a little bit out of the work, both within the containers and also within the self-study, is looking at how we might bring a client or what resources of social support a client might access if they're not willing or interested in attending NA groups or some of, or say 12-step groups or kind of the lived experience recovery organizations that we've seen, like Recovery Connections or Project 6 that work with us on Tuesday mornings. So or maybe it's not to exclude those kind of, but I'm just trying to get a kind of picture in my head of what, for me personally, fellowship with other recovering addicts was a very important part of my ability to share, learning to share, finding identification and relatability, not feeling so ashamed, etc. And if you had a client that was resistant to going to kind of call them public groups, like what could we do with that client, or how could we develop social support? And maybe, as I say, maybe it's a broader thing of understanding what other types of groups there are other than the ones that I have experienced. So maybe if people have some thoughts or experience or wisdom around that, I'd be really grateful to hear.
I think that's a good question. That's a good topic, really. I think it's hard because some individuals are not open to sharing or are not comfortable in groups. I think I wasn't always comfortable in groups and sharing things. I was very much an introvert. So that would be a challenge if someone wasn't willing to go that way, to use those pathways. Whether they I don't know, I guess whether they need it or not that's a different thing. I think personally I ended up not needing to use sort of public, even though I did try. I did the 28-day sort of detox rehabilitation thing. I did the the pre-rehab sort of groups before they refer you. I did stuff like that, and they didn't really help me personally. So it took more of a shock life event to turn me around. So it's quite unique, I guess, really. So yeah, I guess really it would be the individual, sort of figuring out what, if you're not doing the public thing, is would coaching, just one-to-one coaching, would it be enough? Is that sort of what you're thinking? Like, would the person need more than just coaching, or one-on-one scenario, or is opening up and sharing as a group, is that better? Would that help the person more in recovery? Is that what you're sort of thinking?
Yeah, it is, I think. I guess, and thanks, Jamal, for responding like that. Yes, it is kind of what I'm asking, I suppose, is well, what I didn't realize I was asking, but maybe I am asking, is it an essential component of sustainable recovery to have that kind of social support with other recovering addicts? So maybe that is the first question, actually. And it's interesting to hear your experience. What I was wondering when you were talking, I was thinking, so you mentioned the life event, and you've shared with us before what that was. Did that then change your attitude to attending groups, or because you've said I think you've shared with us that you kind of found recovery on your own, and you actually spent a lot of time in sobriety on your own almost before you came to this coaching training, and so I'm curious. It's curious whether that kind of social support, as it were, with I guess what I'm saying, social support with other recovering addicts, because we can find social support with other people who like running or who like but as I say, for me, being in a room with people who are in recovery and sharing experience has been a really important component. So yeah, one, is it essential? And two, yeah, if you didn't want to do it in the kind of 12-step way, or in the kind of some of these frontline services that we see, like how could that be constructed?
So, Damien, I love what you've brought, because that is, in my experience, has been critical, my personal experience, critical, that I connect with other addicts, alcoholics, or whatever you want to call them, if you don't want to label that, previous abusers. However, in East Sussex over the last couple of years, my mind has been opened up, because I used to be an AA 12-step fanatic because that's what worked for me.
Yeah.
And in East Sussex, there's a company called CGL, Change, Grow, Live, and then another company that I worked with, Emerging Futures. And their way of doing things opened my mind. Okay, so that baseline of, I think, Abby, you said it, a 12-step recovery do not have the monopoly on recovery. So if I had a client, coming back to your question, who was not willing to connect with groups, after searching that for a while and asking open questions like, how has that affected you in the past, or what is it that's stopping you? What is the resistance? There might be an anxiety diagnosis that just keeps that person from joining groups. What I would then come back to would be where we used to signpost people to at least just connect with, if it's even one person outside of recovery. So there are many organizations that offer free or subsidized art classes, carving, painting, walking, just connecting with one or whatever, or maybe very small groups. And one of the definitions of addiction or active addiction for me is disconnection. So my experience was alone on my couch drinking, alone. And because I haven't done that for a few years now, what is critical for me is human connection at whatever level. So what's recently my experience is I've decided to join a different fellowship that's got nothing to do with recovery. It happens to be the local church, and I'm helping out with teas and coffees and letting them help the homeless or people that are poor in wealth, but also poor in spirit. And just connecting with them, I get this amazing gift of being uplifted by being able to be of service. So I don't know if I've waffled too much, but
yeah,
offering those courses or whatever where they could join in and try something new. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for sharing. Abby, would you like to go?
So I was gonna mute myself. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I can't remember which continuum it is, but if you look at one of the continuums, probably several of them, from going from a culture of addiction and sickness, from going to a culture where we bring our client into wellness. Part of that is connection. And I think you'll find that on pretty much all of those. I don't know because David's not saying anything, but I think I've definitely seen connection on the continuums, and I mean what Damien just said, you know, sort of summed a lot of it up. You can't just do this. And sorry, Richard, I'm getting everyone muddled up. Sorry, I was in a very bad car accident not long ago, and my head was bashed about quite a lot, so I'm very confused at the moment. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that connection is in the wellness continuum. So that's where we want our client to be. It's within that wellness. And a huge part of that wellness is connection. And if you don't want to find it in the 12-step fellowships or in Smart Recovery, or there's now Dharma Recovery, which is wonderful. It's like a Buddhist philosophy. And there's numerous other, there's 2.0, Tommy, somebody rather, does this 2.0 recovery, and he's adapted the steps to a very grounded, holistic, there's no God, it's just very nature orientated, very beautiful actually. I'd love to go on one of his retreats one day if I could afford it. But yeah, so you've got all of these other his meetings, his Zoom meetings are free. So if they're in a financial position that, you know, the Zoom meetings each week for the 2.0 recovery are free, and his resources are free. So all the meditations, all the YouTube work, it's all free. And again, you've got Smart Recovery, that's all free. There's you know, so you can't really use finances as an excuse here. If you've got anxiety, well, that needs to be dealt with, doesn't it? Obviously. But you can't, I don't think, maintain any sort of recovery. You might be able to stop drinking or using, but if you want to actually be in recovery and have a healthy, sustained recovery, you've got to have that connection. And even if you go and join a golf club or a sailing club or a rifle club, if you've got that community of people around you, they don't even have to know you're in recovery. If that's what you want and you're a private person, hey, keep your recovery, you know, and have that connection. You have to have that human connection. And honestly, I believe a group of people in recovery that can really understand your, you know, your shared trauma, or shared stories, you know, the similarities in your stories, feelings underneath that come with addiction or alcoholism. So I do believe you need, I've only got a small tribe around me. I'm a very private person. I get asked to do main shares a lot of the time. I've given my testimonial in a big auditorium, and I'm not going to do that again. I feel like I was very guarded with. I said I had opiate misuse disorder. I didn't I didn't say the words that have the stigma attached to them still. But if I'd said I was an alcoholic, they would have totally been fine with that. And I'm not dissing any alcoholics, but that is how it is, because alcohol is legal. If you're prescribed opiates, though, that's legal. I'm not being prescribed opiates, but anyway. I just think connection is so crucial. And I don't think, like I said, you can put down the drugs or the drink. If you want an actual healthy, because our continuum goes into a healthy way of life, a healthy way of interacting with society and being a productive member of that society, the continuum goes into those healthy things. You can't do that isolated.
I think that's such a good point.
I'm
sorry,
sorry, but I just don't see how you can. I don't know if I'm missing something, but I just don't see how you can. So like I said, even if it's a golf club, a swimming club, a rifle shooting club, it's a wonderful one down the road for me, a lovely rifle club that I would love to join. I do go to NA, but I'm very guarded as to what I say there, because it's gossiped about, and I'm not bringing shame upon my family. I don't feel any shame myself, but I do believe my family do feel shame around my life, my ex-lifestyle, and I'm not bringing more shame on them, even though
Let's move to Liam, Abby. Liam had his hand up.
Sorry, I've been waffling, David. You know what I'm like.
I think it's a great question. Connection obviously is the key. We found that at the Matt Talbot Center. I think it, and I like what you said, Abby, about continuum. It feels very much like a continuum. My observation is that whatever is needed for the person at the time and space they are in the process of their recovery is what they need. So if it's going to connecting with other addicts or alcoholics, because they're like-mindedness, they can share stories, they have a shared story, and if that's what's needed at that time, then that's what's needed. And then if it's a more, as you put it, Abby, a healthy environment that is free from that conversation, so you can integrate who you are into a more holistic, well-being life, then that's what's needed. But I don't think it's this or that. It's this and that. But that is the case, could be the case through a person's entire life of recovery, connecting every now and then with people who are in a state of addiction or are recovering, and then connecting with people who have apparently always had some sort of well-being in their life and haven't had to deal with connection. So we can integrate ourselves and manage who we are as a human being in all areas of social settings, not just one particular area of social setting, because it feels like when we are in a strong sense of well-being, we are able to manage who we are wherever we are.
Wow. Well, thank you guys. What a conversation that we've had. I'm just gonna give like a quick summary of what we what I understood the question was, is connection with other recovering addicts like essential? And Jamal shared that for his journey, it wasn't necessarily like that. It didn't go in that direction. And from Richard, saying that he was a 12-step fanatic, and now after his experience, he's become a lot more open-minded, and what's important to him is the human connection, is what's really important. And from what I got from Abby was, connection is one of the continuums of the wellness aspects. I'm still, trying to understand what all that means, but that's kind of what I got, in that looking for affordable supplements or free support and communities is important, and going back to that human connection that is fundamental. And also just sharing that recovery friends are helpful, which I kind of agree, and kind of what Liam has shared and what was given to me in the sneaky messages that Dave sent was that it is about getting the client to make choices based on their values and what they need in the moment. And that's kind of what we've gotten. Yeah, I'm unsure of what to do now.
So KK, get ready for a celebration. So get ready to receive a celebration. Well done, mate. How was that for you, KK? What do you think you did well?
I think I opened the space well, and then the community just did their thing, which was great. Yeah.
And what did you learn?
I learned that I learned it can be quite difficult. I'm still a bit unsure on when I should speak or when I should let the community just do their thing. I think that's something that I need to work on. My other thing was like, we were speaking about so many things that I just had to start doing my own notes. So it's around, taking note of what is being said, but also still like having an active ear, hearing what's actually happening. So yeah, those were two of my challenges.
Would you like some feedback from the container?
Yes, please do give some.
All right. Does anyone in the container want to give KK some feedback around how he held the space?
Yeah, I didn't do much, so I don't know what they'd say.
Well done. You did that very well. You weren't meant to do much. So well done. That is such a difficult skill set. It's just holding the space, just sitting with the anxiety of like, oh fuck, what the well done. So that's a plus from me. But let's hear from the rest of the container.
I'd just like to say, KK, you set off a wonderful conversation, and you just held it beautifully. There was no tension sensed, it was relaxed, it was calm, it was authentic, and you held space for that. So I thought that's quite beautiful. That's just my humble opinion.
I think well done, KK. I think you did well with your summary afterwards, and as well what you said about taking notes while listening. That is hard. I find that to be hard, being able to listen and take notes. So well done for doing that as well.
It was nice. It was a really nice container. KK, you have a very nice manner about you. I've thought that in the last few weeks that you've been with us, and so yeah. My feedback would be, you have some, you can have more confidence in yourself. In some ways, managing the container, as you say, that it's actually not as complicated as it sounds like it's going to be. And it was nice. You kind of moved through, and people had their hands up, and you noticed that, and you then asked people to speak in order. And as Jamal said, there was a really nice arc. That's, when you saw, you actually held time, which is actually important. We'd agreed on 25 minutes. We'd contracted for 25 minutes, and at 25 minutes, you did a nice summary. So I think that's probably important in a coaching conversation, is to hold time. So great.
And KK, I'd like to grab this opportunity to congratulate you for being bold, because if I'm not mistaken, really early on, there was this reticence, this kind of holding back, and then you actually went, I can. So well done for that. It's lovely to see. And also, you showed me that your listening skills are good, because of after we each spoke, you had a good kind of summary. So yeah, I appreciated that, and I found this very valuable. So well done, KK.
Liam, would you like to add anything?
The comments that I was going to make have already been covered, so I think I'll abstain.
Okay, cool. All right. So KK, from my side, as a young Black non-binary African, you bring so much to the container, and you are incredibly wise for your age. And my anxiety for you would be that my excitement of wanting to hear your voice in the container might burn you out. Okay? So I'm going to say that again, because I really want it to land for you. My excitement for wanting to hear your voice in the container might burn you out. You have so much to give to the world, and yet you carry so much just because of being such a unique human being here. Yep. And being somebody who's kind of recovering from crystal meth, yeah, I really fucking want your voice here. So please keep me in check. Yeah. Please just say, David, fuck off. I'm not here for you to fucking work your shit and project all that stuff onto me. Yeah. Please just back off. And I'd like you to find that voice. One of the things with African leadership is just listening to people all the time. There's such humility there. So you just kind of listen, whereas kind of Western white male patriarchy leadership is very much like, get in, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, so I'm going to encourage you to kind of speak up and so like your work would be, so like when Abby was talking, to feel comfortable and go, thank you, we've got this, let's move on. So just kind of watch that sort of stuff. Yeah. Which I know is really difficult because, like, Abby, you might not like this, but you are an elder nowadays.
I know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're a white English mother, and from a respect place, it's going to be very difficult to say, okay, thanks. Does that make sense? Am I making sense of the container? I always feel a little bit edgy talking about this stuff, but I feel it needs to be said. So KK, I love the fact that you're here, and I love the way that you open the container, And yeah, thank you for letting me be me around you. Right. Time to check out, everyone. Does anyone want any homework? Should we ask Damien to send homework? Because he'll just say, do homework if you want to.
You have to put it in a group. So I don't know if I've got a pen anywhere. I can write it on my phone. It's fine.
Okay. You lot work out your own homework. Liam, you carry on with module 1. And
yeah, I plan to move on to module 2. So
okay, good.
Before our next we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. And Liam, can you just stick around for 5 minutes after the call?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, you're in trouble.
Sure, we all have that voice going off in our heads.
No, Liam, I want to give you some fierce love if you're open to it. So
Yeah,
maybe
fierce
there
love.
is trouble. Maybe there is trouble, KK.
No.
I check out with joy, everyone. Thank you. Yeah. Is it all right if I take a picture of a screenshot and I want to use it for advertising purposes? You all right with that?
Yeah.
Then fucking smile. Oh shit. Hang on. 1, 2, 3. Is that working? Hang on. Okay. Did that work?
We all have such pretty faces. Yes.
You do have pretty faces. Okay. I don't know if that worked. Oh well. All right. I check out with Joy. I'll tag Liam.
I feel better than I did starting, so that's good. And yeah, improved. I'll tag Damien.
Yeah, I'm checking out with not much to say. I'm going to crack on with module 2. I want to finish that preferably before tomorrow. So there we go. That's my homework. Jamal.
Thanks, Liam. Sorry, thanks, Liam. I'll check out. Still feeling relaxed and just thankful to everybody involved today and everyone's input and everyone's personal sort of stories and experience, things that everyone brought to the container. And I will like to tag KK.
KK checking out, feeling really grateful for this community, and also feeling challenged. That was quite something. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I am tagging Richard.
Hi, I want to check out with real contentment. I'm just feeling so good about this. And my homework will be, when I see you next week, I will be on module 2. So the plan is not to procrastinate. Has everyone checked out, David? I don't know.
No, Abby hasn't.
Abby. Sorry, Abby. Over to you.
I'm checking out, wondering where I go from here. So feeling thoughtful, but optimistic. I've got a lot to sort out in my life. And then once I've done that, I probably need a short conversation with David at some point, but not quite yet because I've got some things to sort out first. But yeah, checking out, feeling just calm, content, and quite happy. Thanks, guys, for an amazing time.
I check out with